AI is moving extremely fast, especially with the advent of new facial recognition software that's being deployed across major airports in cities near you, potentially here. BigBear.AI has been on a surge recently. We saw it push up at market open this morning. This is a company that has been gaining more traction as of recently, getting rejected about $8.60 on Friday, finding that support at around 790 and then getting rejected again this morning at this price point up here around $8.60 before selling back down. So we're watching this $8 support. We've been talking about it for a while, the last 2 days, really through the weekend, to see if Big Bear can hold. Otherwise, we could see it sell back down to this 745. Right now, to previous highs, we're looking about 7% margin for profit. But again, if we're looking for that swing to continue down, let's say, then the margin for profit could look more favorable at about 15%. Why are we watching it recently with the trend here at this resistance? The company has been deploying a lot of technology into these airports as they previously announced, along with a lot of companies. So these airports are JFK, you got Denver International Airport, Dallas, Chicago, Charlotte, Los Angeles, and the VeriScan technology as we see it get deployed into many different airports and seeing it firsthand. So the market of AI is growing. The defense space is seeing more contracts. We haven't seen them come out with any recent news except for that they plan to report earnings on August 11th. When they reported earnings last, they did talk about how during those earnings that took place, they were looking for what was some of the revenue to come in that didn't hit their bank account yet, but that they had expected to come in. So if you look at the market cap, 2.3 billion, there's a lot of hype articles lately. I don't even know. It's like a semiconductor with the American flag. You got to watch out for some of these hype articles on any instance. We're going straight to the source. You can take a look at their financials here. So revenues have been fairly increasing over the last year. You can see that they're up about 5%, but annually you see them kind of surge year over year with the net income dropping in 2024. Part of that last net income drop was cleaning up the balance sheet. You do see that take place where their total assets are looking good in the blue, the $400 million assets with about 198 million there with their liabilities. So 2.3 billion, and I say 198, basically you could say their liabilities are 200 million and their total assets are 400 million. So still really good. We are looking at this level of support. We are trading defense this morning. Actually, we traded CTM stock, which is still holding there as we entered it this morning. But we're looking at this trend now with BBAI. Last time we bought in for the long term was $2.80, somewhere back here, and we've been holding it ever since. And we saw it surge to $10.40, sell down to $2.50. By about April, it started this trend. And through April and then into the summer, we see it go from that $2 price point up to that almost $9 a share, where it's currently sitting at $7.95. I would imagine we're going to see a lot more growth for the company long term. The near term, we're watching this level at 790. The reason why we could see some growth long term, but near term volatility, we haven't seen their financials look insane, right? They had some negative net income. They even dropped off on revenue. Even if they're saying, we're waiting for the money to hit our bank account, but we have these contracts, it's possible that surprises in the next quarter and that we see it grow. But you still got to, take them at face value. It seems like they haven't been super good. Then you kind of look at, well, why does that mean they're going to grow? Their financials haven't been that good. So what do you mean? Well, basically, when we look at Big Bear's growth, it comes down to their new deployments of the VeriScan into major airports here. And you can look at that be something that can really increase their profits in the next quarter. But on top of that, what we're looking at here is that the data that they're going to have most likely will be favorable for contracts. So that's, I think, why we see this continued uptrend, why we see it continue to make this recovery. And the World Cup coming up here in North America, as well as the Olympics, there's going to be a lot of need for their technology. Yes, they're at airports and they're just there with this biometric thing that can kind of replace TSA agents that can go look at the people, where they're coming from, where they're going, maybe their background, authentication, things like that, or authentication. But then you got the um, Kevin McAleenan, CEO, previously in Homeland Security, and Homeland Security definitely is looking for more tech like this. U.S. Customs and Border Protection, he was the commissioner. They're looking for more tech like this. So what do you have? You have most likely a demand for more of their tech. And I can imagine already with those major airports we just mapped out, the amount of data is huge, which will increase their valuation. They also are going with some big institutional investors right now. You got BlackRock, Vanguard, State Street, AE Industrials, and that's kind of why we're watching them as that pulls in. The data is most likely going to be the main thing that we're looking at for what's driving them. Even if, let's say, there's not a good contract value, they come in with the earnings and we don't see that revenue really go up, and it's like the $160 million Army contract just isn't enough to push them. The new airport deals that they're getting just isn't enough to push them. Their net income still looks negative, and they're still holding negative. What can you do? What do we know? Well, they are still basically compiling a massive amount of data, and if they are also labeling that data and keeping it very well organized, things like that, which I imagine they would be, that puts them in a unique position to get back to those highs. Now, if they get back to those highs, it's about a 32% increase, which in my eyes would make a lot of sense. But again, the financials still we're kind of watching there. So they got their earnings coming out next month, and that's what we'll be highly anticipating here. We also had some earnings this week that we're watching. Every single week, we have our price targets come out in stock mates for different companies, as well as where we think they're going and things like that. And we have the different companies when they are reporting earnings, as well as what day, but the pre-market or the after hours. And we have some highly anticipated earnings. This sticker is back. For a while there. It was a little dormant because we didn't see a lot of big tech earnings. But you got Tesla, you got Alphabet this week, you got IBM there, Intel. Last week we had Taiwan Semiconductor and Netflix, which seemed to be fairly positive, which indicates pretty good consumer spending on the Netflix side and pretty good tech spending from big companies on the semiconductor side for Taiwan Semi, who provides for Nvidia, provides for Apple, and also for Tesla. And then you got the Northrop Grumman, you got Lockheed Martin here this week. So we're going to be watching these earnings this week. So there's quite a few to be watching. We got some targets that came out. If you guys want those targets and you also would like to join our daily live trading, we just wrapped up our live trading this morning. We're trading in the market. CTM stock is what we're in. And it looks like we're kind of watching here as CTM kind of dipped a little bit. And we already got in when it dipped. It was already down about 5%. We see it dip just a tad. There were some big movements we were watching this morning. Looked like Veritone was up, but we were watching AMPX, as well as one of the ones that was moving really interesting today was ASML. ASML has been providing this. It's like a molten tin that is the little string that costs billions of dollars to manufacture, basically. And it powers a lot of semiconductors, and they recently pulled back after earnings, so we're watching them. So a lot of things to watch in the market. Today, if you want to stay up to date, be there at Market Open. Second link in the description below. Would love to see you there. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Comment your thoughts on Big Bear down below. If I earned your thumbs up, hit the like button. Do consider subscribing. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.